Good morning, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio on this? Yes, we do. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is Marilyn, and it's the morning edition of Welcome to My World. It's the 28th of January, which is a Thursday, and we have economic news numbers coming out in about 4 minutes. We have core durable goods, the claimed unemployment, and durable goods um, month over month. At 10, we're going to have pending home sales, 10:30 is nat gas, and then late in the afternoon, there might be some other things, but these are mostly um, Jap- uh, economic numbers from Japan. Anyway, if you are in a trade, I would keep a real close eye on it right now until these numbers come out. This is also earnings season for some of these underlying stocks in the indices. So if you're trading any of the indices, you might want to pay attention to what time some of these earnings reports hit the news, because some of them, like Facebook and um, Amazon and what have you, these are big enough companies to move the index that they're in. Also, it's usually a good idea to know when, especially the big companies. If you're trading the TF, it's not such a huge impact because number one, there's 2,000 stocks in there, and number two, they're small cap, so none of them are really big enough to cause some major movement. But the NQ and sometimes the ES and certainly the YM, which only has 30 underlying stocks in that thing. Uh, when those really huge old companies, and if there's several of them at once that come out with their earnings, you might want to pay attention to that. This morning, it looks like all of the indices are sort of in a holding pattern. Oil has made some nice moves up. We'll have to see if that continues. Other than that, I don't see too much. I think there's a lot of kind of waiting and watching to see how these big companies are going to report, on top of the indecision from FOMAC yesterday. They're kind of in the everybody's kind of waiting and watching and waiting and watching. So one of these days, very soon, something's going to break loose here. I've had several questions from people who are trying to build a small account, and they're interested in trading futures, and they have a small account, so they're very leery of trading multiple contracts, which is smart, and they're very leery of trading crude oil, which is even smarter. If you have a small account and you want to build it up trading futures, I would suggest that you take a good look at YM and the US dollar index, which is DX, is a symbol on that. They both trade in $5 ticks. They both have sufficient volatility to make nice moves. They respond perfectly with the Apex rules and trading strategies and systems. And there's, for most brokers, a $500 margin requirement per contract on those. Those, in my opinion, which is what I've been asked, make a little better little better vehicle than some of the minis, and not the mini, like the mini YM is really what I'm talking about, but the mini crude oil, which is QM, and some of the micros. The problem with those is, yes, they're available, and that's a great thing. And as more and more people come into the idea they want to learn to trade with their own money, it will become much better. But right now, you really need to pay attention to the volume on those. And there's just not the liquidity. So you're not going to get the fills. There's always slippage in futures, but it can be a little more than anticipated in some of those. And Chris has put in the chat, and thank you, Chris, because he's talking about YM works great with the IZSS. So if you have a small account and you're trying to learn futures or practice with futures, I would really urge you to take a good look at YM, because it's an excellent vehicle. I would avoid crude oil and gold and bonds until a little bit further in your trading experience. But YM and the dollar make very, very good vehicles. Then once you get that under your belt, then you might want to take a look at NQ or TF, and then move on from there. But I would begin with YM and the DX. So, and Wayne's saying that TF is really good in the mornings with IZSS. I think that IZSS, I've seen a lot of traders do very well with that in NQ also. So, let's see. Right now, I don't see anything. The markets are waiting for a lot of these earnings reports. Bonds are up and the dollar's down right now, which that is a normal, typical. That's the way they trade. They trade inverse to each other, and the euro is coming up, which it does. It trades inverse to the U.S. dollar. So that's just about it. We had the VIX close yesterday at 23.11, so it's backing off a little bit with a little bit of the so-called fear coming out of the market. I've been very impressed with watching Brent, because it seems to be trying to recover, and the international gold market, international oil market's kind of interesting to watch what some of these folks think they want to do. We had somebody yesterday that was making some remarks in the chat, which are always welcome, about some of the macro views of these markets, and I really encourage everybody to develop your eye to keeping track of some of the bigger moves that may be underfoot in the international marketplace and what's going on around the world. But the bottom line is, when it comes down to placing the trade, what we're here for is to place the trade at the entry and be patient enough to wait for our exit. So what so-and-so said on TV over the weekend about the whatever market really doesn't have a whole lot to do with helping us right now get our accounts profitable and make our goals for the day. It's what's it going to do for us right now. And when you start with a macro and then drill down into what you're going to trade today, and then get from there to where is the entry I'm going to take, that's really what we're about. So happy trading. I think that's about all I see. Bonds have put in a really nice lorry elevator. I just noticed that. I got some ticks on that earlier. But those lorry elevators on bonds those things are really good. So the IZSS, uh, the there's other strategies, but if you're in, and the other thing I wanted to mention this morning, we have a lot of new people in this room all of a sudden, and I can tell you, a lot of people come into this room, and it's kind of like, good grief, all these people are insane here. I can't figure out what's going on. It is extremely easy to get into overwhelm when you're brand new. That's normal. We've all been where you are now. Don't let that get in your way and don't let it bother you. Just ask for help. If you need some direction and some help, there's plenty of people that are more than willing to give you a hand and point you in the right direction. So don't let the overwhelm get in your way, because that's pretty much the normal state for a while. We've all been there. Every single person in here has been in that exact same place, believe me. So I will come back at noon. This has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you about noon. Thanks.